Hi folks, this is all the fruit. Traveling in Borneo can sometimes be a bit tedious. Today I want to go, well, somewhere northeast from Sarawak. Somewhere to Brunei, Sabah, or to the parts of Sarawak sandwiched between Brunei and Sabah. And here behind the market is the big bus station of Miri, and all buses go only in one direction. Why do they even have so many companies? All the buses towards Sabah or Limbang or Lawas have been cancelled. So instead of crying and wailing, let's see what they have on the market. Yeah, one reason I want to leave here is that we are not in the fruit season. It might look like a big plenty of fruits, but none of those is seasonal. Sour Borneo eggplants, bananas, papayas, they are all not seasonal. The kasturi lambs might be slightly seasonal, but not really. Apart from that, there is not much. Well, this market near the bus station sells mostly bananas at the best of times anyways, but well, I could grab some dragon fruits. They have a lot of tomatoes. They have tomatoes here, but usually they are not very popular and being sold in small amounts. But yeah, I can confirm that the fruit season is not it's not at its peak. On the contrary. Oh, well, here slightly more crocodile egg lime. And a couple pretty overripe eggplants, but nope, nothing really seasonal, so we leave. So the evil plan I hatched is first to go to Emarts Tunan, a mall which includes a traditional wet market, stock up on some fruits, then take another car, go to the border, and hitchhike through the beautiful country of Brunei. Brunei was a very good spot for hitchhiking. Like just a couple years ago, people going to their work would just see a European on the roadside, not even hitchhiking, just standing there, and would adopt them and show them the country. Last year I was there again, and people were scared a lot of bandits and other things. So basically, I got a couple lifts, and every time it was by the Brunei army. I guess they were the only ones feeling strong enough to give a lift to some strange-looking person. Let's see what we can forage here. Terong pipit, the little pea eggplant. Well, you have to cook it, otherwise it's disgusting. Tropical cherries, but they're not in season, and all the lower branches have been chopped off. Bananas, but they are not ripe. Chilies and papayas, both not ripe. A curry tree, nice, but no fruits. Yes, the fruits of the curry tree are edible, but I don't see any fruits. And over there, oh, the papayas have a lot of ripe fruits, but they are a private garden. Emarts Tunan is the slightly more upscale, fancy market where fruit enthusiasts can find a lot of rather expensive fruits who have been brought here just for that reason. Yeah, they are even trying to beat the fruit season. Just a couple days ago I bought 24 durians which have been brought over 1,500 kilometers from the Singkawang area in Indonesia. Oh, and again some big lemon. Hi Bu, lemon apa? What is the name of this lemon?
Lemon biasa.
Lemon biasa.
Yeah.
Bukan biasa. This is another one of. This is aromatic. This is some citron or citron hybrid. Yeah, aromatic rind that time. I'm sure when I cut it, the rind will be pretty thick. Ini bukan lemon, nama ini citron. Ini lemon, bau bagus. Smell it?
Masam makan.
Yeah. Yes. This is very special lemon.
Makan untuk belacan sama cili.
Yes, everything is good with chili. It's funny, I've already found several times citrons here, always around Miri. Well, something with smelly rind, which I would call a citron. It's definitely not a normal lemon. Please comment if you have an idea what those could be. Those back then were the local IBAN. Here we have a little bit more organized stuff where things are coming from even further away. I would like some long guns, but I prefer the giant ping pong long guns. 3 days ago they were very good. Yeah, so you find rare seasonal things. Right now a couple long guns are ripe, a couple of this, a couple of that, and often those few fruits, they end up here instead of the markets, instead on the markets of Miri proper. Dari mana dabai?
Dabai dari kebun.
Dari sini, dari Miri. Oh, nice, local dabai. Dabai is a very expensive fruit, so they often transport it quite far. Usually it comes from the Rajang area, which didn't have roads until recently, so only expensive fruits were transported on the river boats. They wouldn't transport mangoes or durians, except maybe some really rare or out of season ones. But it seems that it's ripe around Miri now. Snake fruit, usually it's not good from the market, it's better fresh from the garden, and I hope soon I'll be in Teno where I can forage a lot of it. The durian vendors, my old friends, who thought I was an Orang Israel last time. Durian! Oh! Kanyau!
Kanyau.
Berapa harga durian ini?
75 1 kilo.
75. 75 a kilo. This is, what is this? 15 euro, or about $17 per kilo. Not per fruit, but per kilo. 75 is exactly the price I paid last time for half a shopping cart full of durian. Basically one such bathtub, one such big basket full of durian, coincidentally. Ada. Kawan saya ada tempoyak banyak sekarang. They are asking what I did with the durians. Not a single one of the 24 ones was good, so we made them into tempoyak or fermented durian paste. Wow. The ping pong long guns have increased in price. Here they have local long gun. But the prices are amazing. Berapa harga rambutan? Rambutan 12. So terima kasih. So I cross the Malaysian checkpoint and continue into Brunei. Some of those checkpoints you have interesting fruits to forage. You just have to be careful what you forage, because around here the owners and users of those fruits they don't just have the power of the state behind them, they are the power of the state, so don't steal on border crossings. Also, if you wonder about the strange shape of Sarawak, pretty long and the capital in one corner, and also enveloping completely the country of Brunei, and the country of Brunei also sliced into two. That's because of the peculiar history of Borneo, or how the Europeans basically stole Borneo. Oh, is this one of the nice Brunei people who wants to give me a lift? Let's see. They are famous for that. Seems he was just checking his mails before his phone basically runs on what is this called? Roaming shit. Well, anyways, so how was Borneo stolen by the Europeans? There was this huge empire of Brunei, which encompassed all of northern Borneo, parts of Malaysia, and parts of the Philippines. And because the westernmost tip of it was so uncontrollable, the Sultan of Brunei gave it to a pirate called James Brooke, a British pirate. And you know, when you give the British a little bit, they take everything. So slice by slice, this guy took all of Brunei, all of Sarawak, and even as many areas as he could around the capital, and left Brunei with just those two tiny slices. However, those turned out to be basically the best slices of the whole empire, with the biggest concentration of oil. Actually, the oil wells are concentrated in the area of western Brunei and also Miri and Bintulu in Sarawak. So I guess the Bruneians maybe would have liked to keep a bit more of their empire, but they got enough to become a very comfortable, rich country where you can work if you want, but you don't really have to. See this ancient tree here? I want to know what it is. If it's so old, there must have been a reason it was planted so long ago, or it was left standing for such a long time. Maybe it is something useful to humans. Looks like a fabaceae, and those could be the seed pods. I don't know any obvious use for it. It also seems to be the same species as those younger trees, but look at it. It's impressive. It's not a tree of the original jungle because it's just too low. It didn't grow with a lot of competition, but look at that. It's well over 1.5 meters thick. 170, 180. Impressive. And here are epiphytes growing on it. If you know what this tree is, folks, and what it is used for, and why it is so old, please tell me, because it really looks interesting. Nearby a monkey pot tree. Those fruits are edible just like Casia or St. John's bread or some other sweet fabaceae tree fruits, but since they are considered to be of inferior quality, they are called the monkey pot. Also, the leaves fold up at 5 p.m. for the night. So before the poor colonial subjects had the money to own a watch, this was basically the time when they told their colonial overlords, listen dude, the 5 o'clock tree has folded its leaves, working day is officially over, bye. I guess this gateway here is the border. Zack, I'm in Brunei. The border is also right next to the beach. Wonder what would happen if I would just go to the beach now. But I'm not a beach-going person. Also, Brunei is a Muslim state, so don't steal, don't bring any drugs, don't do anything that's considered improper, but which would be tolerated in a Western country. Just refrain from it while you are in Brunei, and you will have a wonderful holiday. These tall trees are casuarinas. They've been planted everywhere in the tropics and subtropics and become very invasive. They grow very well in coastal conditions. Few other trees would be that straight and tall here in the coastal areas, but they take over the land from other vegetation. They also dry it out. They require incredible amounts of water. So, as nature conservationists, we don't like them. It's already well past 2 in Bandar Seri Begawan, the capital of Brunei. It's 128 kilometers away. And Brunei is crisscrossed by so many highways Unlike Sarawak, which has one highway going from one end to the other, I am on this highway right now, well, in the continuation in Brunei. Brunei is crisscrossed by many highways, so a little bit confusing to navigate. Nipa palm, a typical palm of mangroves and estuaries. Usually it's much taller, especially near the water. Here is a dry place, so it's not so tall. And it's not the trunk that it's tall. The trunk is very short and basically in the ground. It's the leaves which can be over 3 times taller. Yes, I think this is Nipa palm, although there could be a couple other candidates. Well, anyways, Nipa palm is an incredibly valuable plant. You can eat the giant fruit clusters. You can make sugar from the peduncles of the young fruit clusters. You can eat the palm cabbage. I don't know if there is enough stem to produce any significant amount of sago, but you can also use the leaves for many different things, because those leaves are maybe 2 meters tall, but leaves in other places will be over 6 meters tall. You can use them for roofs, for mats. They put sticky rice in them. Also, it's incredibly important, maybe its most important function, protection of the coast from sea erosion. Here they grow 100 meters inland, but often they are the first defense line, especially in estuaries of the land against the sea storms. Very important thing. Here I see another very important thing, this little herb which the Iman taught me to use whenever I have some wound or infection. I'm not sure if it's for stopping the blood or reducing the inflammation or disinfection, but right now I have a couple little wounds on my left leg, so I'm gonna use it. Feral passion flower, Passiflora foetida. However, some birds have been faster than me and eaten all the ripe fruits here. Luckily, I bought some tampoi in a mart. Maybe the tastiest Borneo fruit. It's rare to find outside of Borneo. I found some in Bentong near KL, but this was the only time I found it outside of Borneo. You should eat it fast because 90% of the fruit is not inedible. 90% of the fruit is inedible. But the taste of the rest, remaining 10%, makes up for it. This is not the best tampoi I've ever had. Seems Pacorea macrocarpa is not as tasty as Pacorea edulis. But a couple of days ago I didn't buy some macrocarpa because it was just sweet, without any taste of sourness. This one is sweet, sour, and with a peculiar mild tampoi taste. It's very unusual. It has 4 carpels with 8 arils instead of the 3 carpels with 6 arils, which are typical for the genus Pacorea and for the species Pacorea macrocarpa. Tropical cherries. No, not even tropical cherries. I wanted to say no fruits, but those aren't even tropical cherries. There are coconuts here. I will not rip them off the trees here, but if I find one on the ground, I will take it. I don't know if it's still considered theft, but I think no owner's gonna pick their coconuts from the ground. What about this mango? I still have 2 queenie mangoes in my backpack, 2 fragrant mangoes, a hybrid of the normal Mangifera indica and the stinky mango. They're just half as stinky and twice as tasty, but a couple more mangoes would be nice still. This tree is just flowering. I don't see any old out of season fruits. There are a few, but they are not ripe enough. Oh look, this looks to be a longan tree. I have long guns in my backpack, and yet, well, I cannot resist, but the tree does resist. The long guns are not ripe yet. There are a couple on the ground which have been eaten, so maybe here and there they are out of season, ripe bunches. But if there were any, birds and humans have done away with them without me. A whole fruit orchard over there, but that's the emigration. Well, I want to immigrate into Brunei. More mango trees on the immigration area, and I could totally get this coconut, but I'm already being watched. I think I'm walking in a strange pattern, not straight to the control post. Here a good sized mango, but still too unripe. Maybe something on the ground. Over there I saw a small rotten mango, a small unrotten mango, both still not old and ripe enough for me. More mango trees. This is a good country, a country that plants mango trees on its border. Other countries plant barbed wire. Those here plant mango trees, but this fruit is still too unripe. Yeah, I totally approve of this. Also there is a coconut, but let's continue. Let's do the foraging once we get the immigration cleared. Now that I'm already inside the country, what are those red bunches hanging from this little longan tree? Nah, just dried up leaves. It doesn't seem... Are there some good fruits, or are there just very young, unripe fruits? What a pity. Squirrels seem to be the only ones foraging those coconuts here. Even this one would still be edible for me, but I would have to kill the young tree. I even have a parag in my backpack. However, wait. This doesn't look like squirrel bites. A lot of force has been applied. I think those are those squirrels. This is a big, strong animal. This one has been ravaged by monkeys. My erratic behavior, walking here, walking there, walking out of line at the border crossing, must look quite suspicious to the border guards. I mean, they must be used to crazy Westerners, but I think even for a crazy Westerner, I'm a bit out of the ordinary. Fortunately, as I said, this is a very relaxed, peaceful country, just like Sarawak. So they just watch and don't interfere, because if the foreigners want to do crazy things, as long as they don't break any law, let them. Bit of patchy shade. It's better than no patchy shade. This is where I gotta hitchhike. Here's some strangler fig trying to strangle the casuarina. This is basically like the wasp, and the wasp landing on the stinging nettle. Somebody's gonna get hurt, but you don't care who. And unfortunately the fig is not ripe yet, so I cannot try the fruits. I still have the tampoy. The locals' attitude towards foreigners seem to have slightly changed. Well, as I said last year, it was already very different. Almost only the Bruneian army would give me a lift. Well, there should be a lot of border posts here. Maybe some of them are finishing their shift. Come on. You are strong enough to help. A harmless little white man. A nice border official dropped me at the small town of Kuala Belait and questioned me throughout the whole travel. I guess it's a professional disease. You have people in your car, you question them about all their purposes here in Brunei. Well, from here I'll take a bus to the small town of Seria, from where maybe there will be a bus to the capital, Bandar. Let's see what we can forage around here before the bus leaves. Well, for now the only thing I see are two policemen and no fruit trees. And the bus is supposed to leave very soon. Well, I could forage the chilies or the edible hibiscus flowers or some aloe for my cats. However, oh, there is the bus driver. Don't leave without me, don't leave without me. I just wanted to tell you a wonderful, funny story about the deadly plant, but not now. I have 1 hour in the little town of Seria, so let's forage a little bit. Brunei is considered an extremely safe country, so I'm leaving my luggage here. I wouldn't do that at the bus station in Miri. Actually, I got robbed last time, so this time I guarded my luggage. So what did I see on the right to Seria? Basically, the mangoes and the longans had a bit more fruits than around Miri, and also I saw some red fruits on the vine which looked interesting. Nothing much apart from that, so the fruit season here is marginally better than around Miri. Well, we are still very close to Miri. And here in Seria, I don't even see a lot of the proper trees. One mango tree without fruits. Yes, not a lot of fruit trees around here. Coconut tree in the background, a lot of pigeons. Yeah, I have the impression that there are more pigeons here than in Sarawak. Are they native? I guess they have come here with the humans. But apart from that, nope, not a lot of fruit trees. Let's eat a couple longans while waiting. I bought those despite them being rock hard and pretty dry, because longans, if you treat them nicely, can actually dry inside the shell, inside the skin. If you don't treat them nicely, they will usually rot and mold. It get moldy inside the skin. But those, see, to have been treated with a lot of love and affection. Very often when you buy longans which are already hard, the inside will be really disgusting, but those are really still edible. Also, did I mention that there are really a lot of pigeons around here? I don't know. Maybe they are being treated nicely around here. There is a true story about the Turkish dove, which actually got me a very good grade in zoology. Basically, those lived in Turkey and in the Asian part, and when they jumped into the European area, they jumped, well, through the Turkish area, but then they spread throughout Bulgaria because the Bulgarians were quite tolerant, and that's where around 1900 this thing was basically Not this pigeon, but another one more beautiful, was spread throughout all of Bulgaria and European Turkey. But then it took them decades to jump across Greece and Serbia because there the people were not so tolerant, and the stuff was associated with Islam because it liked to live in big trees, and big trees were often around mosques. Only after it managed to jump across Greece and, well, to jump basically between Serbia and Greece and got to Bosnia and got established here, it managed to conquer the rest of Europe easily. But I wonder if there is a similar thing, a similar relationship of the Bruneian people with those pigeons as the Turkish people with the doves. Well, here we can see, yes, the well, the source of Brunei's wealth, an oil well, and a lot of coconut trees, which you can also use to make oil, which is much better for your skin. I guess this technology is from before the time when gas was considered something valuable. By youth there was a lot of this stuff around Germany. By now it has mostly disappeared, but it seems that in this refinery they are still burning giant gas torches. Here the Nipa palms are considerably higher. That's more or less their normal height. They can get higher, but interesting. This was just a small channel. I thought it would be some bigger river. Here is a slightly bigger river. 5, 6, 7 meter tall Nipa palms. Foraging for Nipa palms is always, well, foraging for Nipa palms in Borneo is always a bit like playing Russian roulette. Wherever there are Nipa palms, there are usually also crocodiles. Seems like quite intact peat swamp forest. High trees, big biodiversity. And here suddenly secondary forest with a lot of casuarina. In general, Brunei is harvesting its rainforest, but it's relying much less on that than neighboring Malaysia because, well, it has a lot of oil and gas for its quite small territory and population. Okay, boss. See? After checking into a hotel and spending my last Brunei ringgit on a dinner, well, most of the previous ones went for the bus fares. And yes, I'm visiting all those countries here so often that they give a stack of each currency around. Well, after all those things, I'm out for a little bit of light foraging, and I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm looking for. Because of the good financial situation, Brunei has a lot of really amazing parks. I knew the parks of the capital before, but this time I also saw a couple of the parks of the small towns. I must say they are just as amazing. Phoenix robeleni, a palm from the Mekong River Valley. It's a date palm. Despite being so small, the fruits are delicious, but I've never seen good edible fruits in Southeast Asia, where it comes from, where it should produce a lot of good fruits. The only good fruits I've foraged so far from this species were from the Canary Islands. This should be a longan tree, and I don't think it has been planted. It's growing here in the corner. Is it a longan tree? Probably yes. And it most probably originated from somebody spitting out a seed. Yeah, sometimes gardeners leave those things be, and see how well they fend for themselves. And this long, and I think in a year or two it could start producing. Since it's night, you cannot see very well that the 5 o'clock tree has folded its leaves. Coconuts are always good. You can never have enough coconuts. However, here in the park it might be a little bit dangerous. Coconuts kill more people than sharks. And that doesn't mean that coconuts kill a lot of sharks, although they coexist in the ocean. It means coconuts kill more people than sharks kill people. A lot of things are forbidden here. Fortunately, there is no sign, no fruit hunting. A lot more date palms. Muslims really like date palms. They have religious significance for them. Since Muhammad preached in a desert area, he has used the date palm a lot of times for passages in the Quran. Since we are not in a desert area, all those date palms here are actually not the desert Arabian date. Those are some jungle species. Most of them from Asia. There are also a couple jungle species from Africa. Palm trees, we might think that palm trees belong in the desert, but actually most of them are from the tropical rainforest. But yeah, I've also never foraged fruits on those tropical jungle dates. And no, I don't mind the voice of the muezzin. I actually like it. It's pretty much the only music for which I will not get a copyright strike. When I do a 1 hour foraging video and there are 2 seconds of some Western music on it, my video gets demonetized, and all the monetization for this 1 hour video goes to the 2-second music owner. Well, the religious songs of the muezzin are not copyrighted. So, yeah, they are pretty much the only music I can tolerate in my videos. Casia trees. Nice, well-fed, fast-growing cassia trees. That means the fruits should also be well developed. But I don't see a single fruit. Maybe they are not in season and only very few flower buds. However, I'm not here for the cassias, I'm not here for the coconuts, I'm not here for the longans, which I didn't know about. Nope. I am here for a really special treat. Do you see them? The tree of life, Baobab. Generally considered the most massive tree in the world, the thickest tree in the world. Although there is a cypress in Mexico and a chestnut in Italy, which are considered bigger. But those cypresses and chestnuts, we don't have them here. So we are after the fruit of those things. I don't see fruits on this one, and the one in the background is flowering, but the one in front of me is totally fruiting. See the fruits? There is more than a dozen on that tree, and one on the ground. It's a bit on the smallish side and pretty light for my taste, but foragers can't be choosers. Oh, actually this one, which is flowering, is also fruiting at the same time. What are those? Is this a Ranzonia digitata? The fruits are quite small for digitata, but I don't have so much experience with all those Madagascar species. Digitata is from Africa. Also here are parts of the flower. And yes, I'm doing all this by night because right now I feel like going out and foraging. Do you think the night's gonna stop me? I am the... no, this is copyrighted. I cannot say it. Well, but what I want to say is you are not a real forager unless you can forage by night, by day, by sun, by rain, and by anything else. When I was studying We actually had this pastime. We would go out at night, somewhere in the darkest forest, somewhere in the middle of winter, and try to identify every plant around us. Yep. Guess who excelled in this discipline? If you just learn the plants for the names, you will never be as good as someone who learns them for his sustenance. I was just being chased by this hijab woman. Yeah, since my first foraging days in the Kuala Lumpur parks, I am a bit traumatized by hijab women because their guards women had hijabs and would yell at everybody who would perform acts not suitable for their opinion, which could just be standing there. No, they did not yell at me, but they yelled at a lot of other people. Since then, I'm afraid of hijab women in the parks. But this seems to be quite a liberal place, despite everything. You see couples holding hands. You see a lot of people with short sleeves and short pants. But that doesn't mean that the hijab women have no power. It's the dry season, so even the drainage ditch can hold tasty baobab fruits. Nope. There is one hanging up here, but those trees, well, they were planted quite recently. Last year they were still here. That's why I came out in the middle of, in the late evening. They don't look too happy, but I guess they will need a couple more years to establish here. They grow in quite desert, like semi-desert conditions. But they also thrive in wet climates, like in Singapore. So Brunei shouldn't be a problem for them. Actually, the only baobab I've seen in Borneo outside of Brunei was one tree I glimpsed somewhere in Cebu in some fenced-in garden. There are a couple more baobabs here, and one suspiciously light fruit is not gonna get us too far, so we need to get a couple more fruits. Here are a couple more. However, I think that the lawn is being raked every day, and while they might overlook a couple leaves and stuff, massive fruits will usually be discarded. Nothing in the ditch, nothing on the grass. There are a couple fruits on the tree, so all fruits here are quite small. Really very small for digitata. That could mean that the trees are not feeling well, or that this is something different. I mean, digitata is the easiest baobab species to obtain. The other ones I've actually seen only once, another baobab species in Singapore. But who knows? Money talks. Brunei has a lot of oil money. If they want some fancier baobab species, I'm sure they'll be able to obtain it. What about those three trees here? Come on. Nothing around this here. Nothing here. Maybe something hidden under the bushes. No. Nothing. Nothing under this one here. Nothing under those bushes. Wow. I guess this one fruit at the beginning was, beginner's luck. I've checked now all 12 baobab trees I'm aware of in this city, and only the first one did yield a fruit. Thank Allah for the light from the mosque. I saw one fruiting Casia tree, which was highlighted very nicely by the mosque behind it. Look at that, fruiting Casia tree. Those fruits are very popular in Arab countries. We don't need to rip any off the tree. They are lying here in huge amounts. They are very popular in Arab countries. They are being sold in pharmacies and drugstores. See this shiny layer in here? That's what we are after. Yeah, the shiny black layer is layered upon a very woody yellowish layer. Why don't you want to focus? Focus. Basically, suck at all this until the black layer dissolves. And you are left only with the yellow layer which you spit out. Let's get this nice big fruit with us. Actually, around here a lot more cassia trees are fruiting profusely. Interesting. In this corner, look at that. Let's again use the light from the mosque. In this corner, hundreds of fruits are hanging from the trees. But in the corner where I started out, there wasn't a single fruit on so many cassia trees. There is one more important thing I need to do, and everything for my plan is here. There is a trash bin. There is running water of good quality. There is even light and benches to sit on, which is a bonus. Actually, the important part is water and the trash bin. Because here in my backpack I still have 2 queenie mangoes. The queenie, the Latin name of the queenie is Mangifera odorata, the fragrant mango. But one of its parents, it's a fruit of a hybrid origin, one of its parents is Mangifera foetida, the stinky mango. And so the queenie smells basically like you take a lot of machine oil and mix it into some wonderful fruit candy. Very sweet and heavy and very machine oily. I kept those for at least 2 or 3 nights in my room in Miri, but I had my own room. And I kind of like the queenie smell, yeah. It's correct to call this odorata, the fragrant one, and the other one the stinky ones. But here in Brunei, a private room is expensive, so I'm staying in a dorm. That means I cannot have all those people in the dorm breathing in the machine oil smell of the mango. No, I'm not throwing them away. What are you thinking? No, actually I ate the queenies, threw away the trash, and now, like a good little boy, I'm even closing the trash bin. People are asking me so often, why is Mangifera indica, one mango species, the only one of any significance in the world? Well, the queenie, the vani, and the kasturi are the 3 only other mango species which for now have carved out at least a small niche existence for themselves outside of their natural range. All 3 are quite sweet and have quite a pleasant flavor, however also some machine oil pungentness. But yeah, if you can get around that smell, they are sweet and tasty, and usually they don't require chemicals. Mango is one of the fruits which is being treated with the biggest amounts of chemicals, and that's why actually in Borneo some people prefer local jungle mangoes, because those grow without chemicals. Okay, but I don't know, the Wani, Queenie and Kasturi, yeah, bringing them to nearby open markets is okay, but letting them ripen in enclosed malls or transporting them in trucks for weeks in trucks, planes and ships, the smell might be a little bit too strong. Tell me, folks, if you have experience with other mango species besides Mangifera indica, and which one you think could be successful outside of its native range. Here in Borneo they consume a lot of mango species which are very sour, because even the most sour fruit can be put into some curry or sambal. Canna edulis, the edible canna, a popular ornamental throughout the world. You can grow it here in the tropics, you can also grow it in cold areas. I think in cold areas you have to remove the bulbs from the ground and store them, but that's not a problem because the bulbs are the part to which the edulis or edible refers to. The bulbs are edible, they are the biggest edible part. However, you can eat the young leaves, the young buds, the young flowers, the fruits and the seeds. Of course, I will not start munching at those beautiful ornamentals here in the park, but it's always good to know when an ornamental is called edulis, it might not be purely an ornamental. By the way, the bougainvillea flowers are also edible, but edible in a way like they are not poisonous. You can put them on top of salads and they will be a nice red or here pink, or they're also white, almost black, purple, yellow, orange colors. The consistency is quite tough, tougher than most leaves, definitely tougher than petals. Bougainvillea, the red things in bougainvillea are not petals, but a type of bracts, a type of leaf. Yeah, petal is also a type of leaf, but this is a leaf type of leaf, while the petal is a flower type of leaf. So yeah, they are kind of edible, but don't start collecting them in huge amounts. If you collect a couple, not from this park, please. You can sprinkle them on top of your food and your salad, and yeah, they will not be poisonous, but they will be just a kinda edible decoration. City, I mean, I would say Bandar and Kuching are the two cities which compete about the title of the most beautiful city in Borneo. Both have incredible wealth from oil, gas, yeah, and logging. Then there are a couple cities like Miri and Bintulu which are trailing behind a little bit, but they are still quite rich, but they are not capitals. All of them try to copy Kuala Lumpur and even more so Singapore. Beautiful parks, and whenever there is a lot of money involved in parks, you get rare things like those baobabs. So rich neighborhoods and poor neighborhoods are usually the most interesting for foraging for different reasons. This should be a king palm. Unfortunately, they have no edible fruits, but there is a slim chance that this one here is a queen palm. However, I've never paid attention to male inflorescences of the queen palm. Please tell me what this species is. It seems to be a male individual, or if it's a monoecious individual, they are just male inflorescences on it. Well, there is another one. It also seems to be male. Oh no, it's female, so maybe the other one is also female. No, I don't think it's the queen palm. Those are actually female inflorescences with tiny fruits. Okay, I don't know what the... Oh wait, this is this triangular palm. I mean, all palms have the number 3 as the base of their structure, but this one is pretty triangular. Tell me the name, I always forget it. And yes, I could be doing all this tomorrow morning, and yes, you would be seeing more in the daylight, but tomorrow morning I want to assess the fruit season on the main market of Bandar, and if I get a hint that somewhere around the country of Brunei there is a good fruit season, I'll head in that direction. If not, I will continue towards the state of Sabah. So not a lot of time for idle foraging tomorrow, okay?